I want to bring in Daniel McAdams, the executive director at the Ron Paul Institute for Peace and Prosperity. I'm sorry, when I first heard that, Daniel, I mean, the war in Iraq. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I want you to explain to our viewers who the Wagner guys are and what you think actually happened this past weekend. But before that, what did you make of Biden's reaction?
I was just upset that you stole my punchline. I was going to try to slip that in somewhere, but you guys are too sharp. You're too on the ball. You know, you steal all my jokes. But the Wagner organization is an interesting organization. It was actually created by the Russian intelligence services, the GRU. It's not the property of Prigozhin, who's basically the titular head of the Wagner organization. It was formed as kind of an equivalent of the French Foreign Legion, where the Russians could operate outside of Russia in places like Africa. They did a lot of work in Syria. That's where they first made the names for themselves. But it's always essentially been a Russian military operation with kind of a civilian head. As to what happened last weekend, admittedly, it was very weird. But there are a lot of facts. I mean, unfortunately, you know, Western analysis of the situation is all filtered through the accepted narratives, which is that Russia is about to collapse. I mean, how many times have we heard they're out of missiles? We heard it from the very beginning. They're about to crack. Actually, Blinken used that word 4 times on Sunday. The regime is cracking. The regime is cracking because they want it to happen. Well, real analysis doesn't work that way. You have to look at for things as they were. The precipitating factor of Prigozhin's strange behavior over the weekend is that he essentially was making a lot of money off of Wagner. He was getting a lot of contracts from the Russian government, and he was about to lose it. On July 1st, a law was going to go into effect wherein the fighters in Wagner either had to sign contracts with the regular Russian military or go home. And that was essentially it. And the other thing is that he had a big surge of soldiers that came from the prisons. They were forgiven their crimes for going to fight. They had done their 6 months, and they served a lot of it in Bakhmut, which was not a fun thing, I'm sure. And they were about to go offline. So he was losing a big chunk of his fighters, and he was about to lose his cash cow. Now, a lot of this analysis is done by someone I really appreciate called Big Surge, so I can't take credit for the analysis completely, so to speak. But it had more to do with, you know, Prigozhin sort of losing it at the thought of losing his business than a coup, which is the word that was used in the West. And how do we know this? Because not a single entity in the military or in the political sector or even in the Russian opposition expressed any admiration or support for the coup. He was out there on his own. Even his own officers, by the way, in Wagner, did not, with the exception of one, did not take that march to Moscow.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.